Welcome to the final viewing, a new horror sub-series presented by CineQuest Video. As a willing bystander, you will be subjected to all the blood, guts, and madhouse mayhem the horror genre has to offer. No need to fear. Remember your training. Call upon all the tried and true horror survival strategies. Split up for safety. Better go investigate that noise. Clowns are our friends. Ancient Indian burial grounds are great for cookouts. We present to you all the tales of terror your beating heart can suffer through. You'll love it. Presenting the final viewing of Fried Berry.
Yes.
Welcome to another episode of the CineQuest sub-series, Horror Quest. Still unnamed. Hopefully, again, be named by the time
our project.
you will watch this, and a video actually introducing it, a proper video introducing it. So in this episode, we're going to be talking about the movie Fried Berry, just released on Shudder.
Mm-hmm.
I personally knew nothing about this other than like little snippets that I've heard from trailers, but a trailer that I've never really seen either.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch the trailer?
Yeah. I saw it on episode of Last Drive-In. They aired a trailer between I think at the end, because I don't think they air trailers during.
It's not during. It's either before or after, I think.
Yeah, I think it was after. And they aired it, and I was. It was funny because I saw it, and then you messaged me asking me about it. I was like, "This is some weird, trippy shit. We need to see it, I guess."
Yeah, we had initially I had chosen another movie for this episode.
Right, which we'll just have to get to that.
We'll get to that at some point, but since this one just came
out,
while the iron's I figured hot. Really get on that trending
why not?
Thing on Google.
You know, we want friends. We want people to.
Also
to enjoy.
Right? We need to trick the algorithm on YouTube.
We're cool.
And our
up to date
streaming podcast to kind of see what's hot right now. What's hot?
Right, yeah. What's
what's hot? Something that's fried.
Right.
Fried berry. And it's terrible, but I worked it in, right?
Okay, Ray. You get punched for that. You figured it out. You
I tried.
You did it.
I'm trying to be one of them professional hosts, because after 2.5 years, still not at it well.
Is it 2.5? I thought we were going on 3 now in by summer, right?
You know what? You're right.
July?
It's going to be our 3rd year as a podcast network,
right?
So to speak.
Studio. Professional.
Audio.
You stop it. It's all right.
Persons.
It's all right.
Anyways. Fried Berry. We actually just finished watching it a few minutes ago.
It's almost like a. I think even Joe Bob makes the joke when he was talking about it's just some avant-garde art shit.
I mean, ish. As they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
The beer holder.
So is art.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Right.
Do I consider this art? I'm sure it's a movie. Someone put it out there. They put their creative energy into it, and. Sure,
it worked out.
It's
art.
It
was an indie film that went international.
Well, I think it was a short film at first, and then
yes.
And then they kind of like
they ran with it.
They ran with it. A little trivia about that. No script, which I
believe it.
Absolutely, because there's not much dialogue in this movie.
No, the main character really says nothing. Like he's got like a few.
He has a few lines in the very beginning,
and they're not even his own. Oh, right, yes. When he's
he
playing himself.
Yeah, after he gets out of, I assume, rehab or his junkie station.
And then
whatever.
he has that penile butt mouth probe combination, the triple threat, baby.
Well, I mean that's after he gets in a fight with his wife,
right?
Because he's not a good dad,
right.
Not a good husband.
Yeah.
So he basically says, I don't need this, and just walks off.
Right.
And walks off into the night.
Yeah.
And it just so happens that as he's walking out there, he gets abducted by aliens. And mind you just see a fucking red light shining on the guy.
And he gets all his holes plugged.
Yeah. There's a penis, and they shove something in the penis.
Oh boy. That's a Pornhub fetish somewhere, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure you can find other clips that are probably better than that clip. But they use a lot of like.
For some reason, he's fully erect while they're probulating him.
That's true, but I question it. Is he erect by his own reasoning, or like did they?
It was induced erection.
Yeah, induced
Right.
induced erection.
Yes.
They gave him a few.
No, I don't like this. I don't want
Blue
this.
Chew. They gave him a few Blue Chews. You can sponsor us, by the way. Blue Chews.
Yeah.
And they made his penis hard.
Right.
A hard
For
penis.
the purposes of the examination.
And I'm just guessing here, but I think the thing was about yay thick,
Right.
and it went straight into like.
Oh man, yeah.
Into the fucking peener.
Yep.
And then he got fucking like
He got doggy style.
laser roped on both sides, and like his mouth and his asshole.
Yeah. Again,
I'll find a clip of that.
triple
somewhere.
threat.
Right. Triple threat of that movie. Of that scene, really.
Right.
And then they show like
mouth,
aliens.
anus, penis.
Boom. Mouth, anus. Mouth, anus, penis. And they show the alien coming in and like all goth-like,
Yeah.
Comes in, goes out.
He's like smoking a cigarette with one of those long filters.
He's got a fucking monocle in his eye.
Yeah. A fedora.
A scarf. A flamenco guitar strapped to his back.
Yes. Such is life.
What is that one song that the flamenco people always play?
Oh, hell.
Fosterius? Is that the one? I don't know.
I have to look for that.
I'm not a classically trained anything, so
person.
No. I barely have any standards. I barely have any sort of class.
No.
So
Why?
this is what you get.
Fuck that.
I have no host training. That's why I'm constantly struggling just to like get the words out properly. There's a few ums and uhs and ahs and like
I chew.
Right? If you've listened, If you're listening already, you already know like that's what you're gonna get.
Ray, this isn't about you.
I know.
Moving on.
But I want it to be.
Yeah, I know. Don't we all?
So Fried Barry, like I said, he gets abducted by aliens, and then we are not told outright through any sort of
It's
exposition.
heavily implied.
But it is
When
it's
he
heavily
comes back,
implied that he is.
It's not him.
Yeah, he's possessed by some sort of otherworldly being.
Invaded by alien stuffs.
That was mean that he doesn't speak. He
doesn't speak English.
He has the.
He parrots things.
What do we say, Roland? Like he's like walking.
Oh,
around,
he's
like,
got that weird lurch walk.
Yeah.
Lurch robot.
This is not to say that just because you don't have a personality, that you can't party hard.
And get laid at every goddamn
in South
scene.
Africa.
Like, oh my, like they basically turn him into a sex magnet. Like it's just everybody that talks to him is like, hey, want drugs? Hey, want sex?
Yeah,
Sure.
He gets pushed into a rave where,
and it's not just women. Like it's everyone. Everybody's attracted to him. He gets pulled into the bathroom right there in the club, and they're like, "Hey, you want some of the whatever the hell?" Like the guy starts undoing his pants.
The reason that happens, that he gets pulled. Well, let's just start off. Let's just go down the line of things that happen to him. So, he gets abducted. He gets probulated, right? He then gets into the rave.
Yes,
and then the girl walks up to him and like offers him some fucking ecstasy.
Yep.
He takes the ecstasy and then starts kind of like doing his little weirdo dance.
Yep.
And finds the girl again, grabs her little bag of ecstasy and fucking just chucks it down his throat. At this point, I don't even know it's
party hard.
Is it ecstasy or is it Molly? That's
one
of those party drugs.
Yeah, who cares?
So basically, he goes to the roof, right? He's fucking dancing like crazy. Ends up going to the restroom. Sees a guy, looks at his dick as he's peeing.
Right.
Guy calls him a derogatory name.
F word.
And then the guy in the restroom invites him in.
Right. Hey,
suck his dick.
Come here. Come on. Hey, so you like to party, right? He starts
zip, up.
Like explode in blood.
Well, like we find out it's like black jizz. I guess.
Right. Yeah. He's got alien spooge.
He's got like is it the stingrays or which is the ones that ink?
The octopus. He's got
octopus ink in the just right in the face.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's like got seeds in it or something because like the guy, he just moves away and the guy's like
it's got chunks or whatever.
It's got
like something in there.
Black chunks in
his so like I first saw it and I thought his dick exploded in his face. I mean like actually not, Oh,
like his real dick? Like just fucking...
like...
Well, I guess since we don't see it, we don't really know for sure.
No, but I mean like you find out later on and apparently it's still there because the prostitutes seem to like it without any trouble. I mean, he goes throughout this whole movie without barely uttering a word and navigates these huge, long-winded conversations with people and situations. Yeah, I mean, he like goes up to a pimp and like has a prostitute thrown at him, and she just basically jumps on his nuts.
Oh, is that the girl that fucks him in her apartment?
No.
There's a
Excuse
girl-
me, that's after. Right. So first, when he's in the club, the girl, just some rando walks up to him and says, "Hey, let's go to my place." And he's like, "Hey, you know," he doesn't speak the language, but what he does is parrot. He's like, "Hey, let's go to my place." And she's like, "Oh no, mine's right around the corner. It's closer."
Right.
And like somehow he's getting laid, you know, like she jumps on his ass and
She fucks him and then like tells him to leave.
She's like, "All right, I'm good." But
Perfect first
get
date.
the fuck out of here. And like he ends up wandering around and finds a prostitute. She throws herself on him.
Yeah.
He busts a fat alien nut, and she gets preggers and gives birth within like, I don't know, like 4 minutes, 3 minutes.
Nah, it was faster than that.
Faster than that,
It was
yeah.
almost like less than 2 minutes for sure.
It's like a 10-second circle of life kind of thing going on.
He busts, and like within seconds, that baby's already grown inside of her.
Yeah, and then boom, birth mode.
Yeah. And
And he's just standing there the whole time staring.
That was that fucking scene, which I was like, nah, they're not gonna get. They got a close up of like what appears to be a vagina, just like slowly opening.
Right. Yeah. You
and
see some
like the head.
You see something spreading. Right. She does spray the bed a few times, kind of thing with birth juice, I guess.
It was black too. So.
Yeah. Well, alien spooge. Who knows?
But yeah.
Later on, he gets abducted by a pedophile. He ends up in the loony bin, as they tell him.
That was probably the. You know, it's weird. Like I know they mentioned that on Joe Bob that this didn't have a script, and you could see him just going from situation to situation.
Right,
like
yeah.
there's almost like little stories going on that we just kind of like bypass really quickly.
I mean, at one point he goes back to his actual wife and bangs her a few times, and then just like
and he's
runs
like really
away
good at it or something. But
yeah, he's really good. It seems like a completely different person, you know, and he's just there quiet. He never says shit. You're like, oh,
well, like regarding the whole pedophile incident, like we find out that pedophile has like a bunch of kids like locked up away.
Yeah, and that's how it's funny how they're listed in the credits. What is it?
Kidnap kid
1 through 12.
Yeah, but like it's not even like one. It's kidnap kid 1, kidnap kid 2, kidnap kid 3.
Oh yeah,
and just goes all the way down to 12.
Yeah,
but there was another. What was it? Was it fuck boy or fuck something?
Oh,
you have the credits like
yeah. We'll
you know what? We have IMDb right here to see if we can.
I would love to see IMDb list that in their cast. I don't think it's there.
Let's see this.
There's no way.
Apparently, there's like over 100 people in this movie.
Yeah. And the director had 80 references from
just
Steven Spielberg
character names. We have bartender, pedestrian, pissing guy with dog, cheese guy, pervert, pedestrian, kidnapped child, 11, wall hugger patient, Borea man, candy raver, Gigi girl number 2, detective number 2, transgender sex worker,
vomit girl,
all dots on the prophet. Oh, that was a weirdo dude. Alien preacher.
I think that's the pedophile.
Yeah, that is the pedophile.
Wow. Okay, whatever.
Sticky Vicky, Charlie Cocaine.
Sticky Vicky was another prostitute.
Defecating patient.
Charlie Cocaine was
There was a guy taking a shit in the loony bin.
Right, yeah, right in the middle of the room.
Let me see. Low life girl. Kitty Catcall, detective, orderly. Let me see. Zimmer frame patient. Blowjob king. That was funny. That must have been the guy in the restroom.
Yeah. The one guy blowing the other guy.
Fuck man number 2. Fuck man number 1. That's what it was.
Right.
Fuck man.
Fuck man.
Yeah.
I don't remember that, but I'll have to. You know, this is definitely something you want to check out a few times.
I like he's the person who wrote and directed this movie. Gave every person a particular name. Most people were just like
a good
extra
name.
number 1, extra number 2, probably, but like fuck man number 1,
vomit girl's friend.
Yeah,
there is just all kinds of weird silliness.
I think the loony bin scene was kind of touch and go for me because I thought like it was just gonna like draw out, but whenever the guy was
that one.
well, whenever like the guy was like saying, "Give me the gun," after they choked out like the orderly guy.
Yeah.
And then it was just a baton.
He throws him a nightstick.
He throws him a nightstick, and then he turns into
assault
fucking
rifle.
yeah. And he's like shooting, and you're like, I'm just like, how is this really looking? And it looked exactly as I thought. It's a guy with a fucking nightstick
pointing at people. Pew 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 pew. Clack.
What I thought was funny though is that Barry still escaped.
Yeah.
Like,
and he met up with his friend who just turned out to be another druggie, and then like he jumped out of the car.
So the plan was real,
right?
But the way it was playing out in his head was not.
Absolutely not. So the getaway driver was supposed to be a time traveler, and they were meant to to meet up, and then the main guy that sends Barry out there is like, just tell him I couldn't make it. Like, but this was your whole thing. Like, and that guy himself had been like, you might not know this in Insurance Secret. I'm a time traveler.
It's great.
That
whole
scene. It's surprising how much action.
That whole scene in a car is straight out of fucking
pulls you through. Fear and Loathing.
Fear and Loathing, Las Vegas, and an Oliver Stone Natural Born Killers scene. Like, if you have ever seen those where like they're in the car and there's a bunch of like green screen shit going on behind them, you can tell they're not driving. Yeah, and they're doing this whole thing with a wheel, talking, and there's like all these like colors going on behind them and shit. Like,
have some drugs.
Yeah. But yeah, so that scene looked like it was just ripped directly from one of those movies.
Yep.
And I'll post a clip of those so you can see the comparison. So what else is going on? Barry's just going through like different scenarios. Like, you don't really know what's gonna happen to him. Like,
and he's just stumbling from scene to scene, and these things are happening around. He gets beat up by like just some gang bastards. He ends up like being picked up by I guess a pedophile murderer.
And we find out that he can actually save people from heart attacks.
Right. Apparently. He goes all Jesus on some people.
And he can give people heart attacks.
Right. And another guy, the people that beat his ass, like as they're leaving, he just sort of does the
before he passes out. So he doesn't give him a full heart attack. He kind of gives him a little
he's like, you're gonna have fun later. Like that, I'm pretty sure a few scenes later or whatever, that guy died.
So like anything that happens in this movie like doesn't get addressed later on. It just, like I said, it just goes through. The only people that return are the prostitute that he impregnates, and his wife.
His wife Tam.
Yeah, which they meet up at some point because apparently Barry dies. Right.
Yes. I guess he just sort of passes out when he gets rescued.
That was the other E.T. scene where like it's just the paleness of it.
Yeah.
It's an alien who's gone pale and he looks like he's fucking dying. And then they try to like revive him. Then he apparently dies.
And then he comes back.
And then he just comes back. Yeah.
He just sits up and like, oh yeah.
And they because he's doing like this almost like this E.T. phone home kind of shit, you know?
And that's when his wife realizes that he is not her husband, and they take him back to the original abduction spot sort of thing, and that's when he does his floaty bits.
He gets abducted again,
right?
Or like he's not really getting abducted; he's just going back to his. And they have a UFO.
The CG is so bad.
And let me just say this: it's not UFO, UAP, cylindrical object floating above the city.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look that great, but I mean, whatever. But I'm under the impression that the real Barry gets just dumped back,
right?
Because we don't see it. We just hear someone.
It's off screen. Dropped. You see him float up, and then you hear a and like as he hits the pavement, and they're like, "What?" They just the women folk just sort of turn around and are like, "Oh, you're still here, cool," and then it ends. Which is really amusing because I think that is the one scene in this movie that is actually like meant as comedy. Sort of thing. Like that's the one like, okay. Because like the rest of it, like we laughed our asses off at quite a bit of this movie. But I don't think it was necessarily set up to be that way. If it was, awesome. But for the most part, like these are, again, it's just like a expressionless, emotionless character, and these just ridiculous things are happening around him, and we're laughing at it like, ha ha ha, like that guy's like his dick just exploded in his face or whatever. Oh, she just gave birth, like we find that funny, but I don't think it was particularly shot with that in mind, with the exception of the end of the movie, because it's just like they're again like the prostitute meets up with the wife at one point in the hospital, and as they're taking him back to the beam me up Scotty moment, they're walking away to have a beer, and then they just hear what, and they turn around and like movie's over.
Right.
Spoilers.
We need to mention the fact that the prostitute that he impregnates,
right,
basically gives birth to Barry,
right,
like who
grows to a full ass grown old man like within the span of a day or two. What is
that fucking movie with Robin Williams, Jack?
Oh, you're talking about Jack?
Yeah, where he like grows up way too fast.
Yeah,
and shit like
yeah. He grows up as an adult.
That's basically what's happening.
That movie ends with him graduating from high school, and he's an old man by that point, kind of thing. It's just like another.
But with that movie, you're under the impression that he's gonna die real soon.
Oh yeah, and he does.
But
it's implied
in this movie. We find out that Barry, like the
baby, the prostitute spits out,
is like a full grown Barry.
Right
person.
By the end of the movie,
yeah,
like
and
an identical Barry.
There is a scene where
the mind of a child.
The baby wants, or like the Barry.
What does she want?
The baby Barry wants
mommy.
He wants titty milk.
Mommy milk or
mommy mug, milk mug or something like that.
Yeah,
mommy mug,
one of those.
Shit. And she doesn't want to do it, and then like of course she has to lift her shirt.
Yeah, she's like,
and he starts suckling.
I guess I love you, and she's like, oh fuck me, ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, and it's a weird fucking scene. I mean, that was probably more awkward for me. Than
she's very casual about the whole thing.
The dick getting probed,
right?
Him getting probed on both ends,
weird.
Or the fucking guy trying to suck his dick.
It's so casually strange.
Or even the guy getting his dick sucked in the fucking
oh right,
in the actual restaurant,
in the bathroom.
Yeah, in the bathroom. And Barry's just staring at him,
just watching him
getting his dick sucked. That Barry suckling from his mother is just it's kind of weird.
Barry Jr.
Barry Jr.
Little Barry.
Barry Gibb Jr.
And he's left there at the end of the movie. He's as Barry Sr. is being taken up, or alien Barry Sr. is being taken up. Barry Jr. is just there, kind of like, yay, ha ha ha, like he's
in the backseat of a car,
right,
with the windows up.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hey, what's wrong? He needs to breathe. Come on.
But
he's a grown boy.
Yeah, that's pretty much the gist of this movie. I mean, I think you're in just for you really don't know what to expect. I had my notions about this movie just knowing very little bits here and there. I was thinking that it's gonna be like more aliens. I wanted more aliens, but Barry was the alien,
right?
But not in the traditional sense where you see the big eyes and the head walking around and stuff. Like it's just the alien that has possessed him.
And
internally.
A lot of people bitching at him why he can't talk.
Right, and I mentioned to Roland as we were watching this. This reminds me of the movie Under the Skin with Scarlett Johansson, where she's the alien and she's like fucking these dudes and killing them.
I was like, that sounds like Species.
And he said Species. I'm still trying to I guess I got to rewatch Species then.
I mean, it's the same sort of premise. A lady gets.
I mean, I have the gist of what Species is, but right. I mean, that's like a.
It has a bit more of H.R. Giger in there, sort of thing.
But like that particular alien is well aware of what it's doing.
Right.
It's not just walking around trying to experiencing life for the first. Yeah.
And
because in the Under the Skin in this one, the alien that's possessed the human form
has a mission.
Well, they don't even have a mission necessarily. They're just experiencing like the human condition for the first time,
Ew.
Because at some point it happens during Under the Skin where she shows compassion to one of the dudes.
Oh, okay.
And that like you're just experiencing those emotions.
Doesn't kill him. I'm just gonna bone you, but whatever. You survived this.
But yeah, so that's the kind of movie you're getting with this one. Like. You got to just go into it.
It's pretty trippy.
And you should probably be...
The soundtrack is fun.
I was sober the whole time.
Nah.
You should probably not be sober watching this movie. Might make the experience a bit more interesting. And maybe like have some good speakers too. So like the music's going to come at you. Like
bass.
the soundtrack, you're gonna have a lot of techno kind of music.
It's like Joe Bob calls it the electronica. It sounded a lot like what's that fucking band that I usually listen. Dance with the Dead, I think, is the one I listen to. But it's sort of like goth rave music or whatever kind of stuff. It's fun. It's amusing, or like synthwave, sort of 80s silliness kind of stuff.
I would say like because of the drum beat, it's more techno, DMB kind of music. It's just rave music basically. It basically has that whatever that fucking beat is. There you go. That's the one. Yeah.
No.
then you stop, you drop the beat,
right?
And then you bring the beat back. There's not even any lyrics.
No, there's not.
It's like drums and then
you've got to feel it.
Like weird fucking synthy sound effects. Very bassy type of sound effects. What about like the way this movie shot, Roland? Like, what do you think about that? Like,
it was amusing. I thought it was a little excessive. Maybe just, I mean, in the sense that it just made, again, like I assume we weren't meant to laugh at these things, but I did. You know, like
this movie is
whenever they had a close up.
This movie is considered a horror sci-fi comedy. So it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's supposed to be funny.
I thought the director said it was cult classic.
Well, that's what Joe Bob says that he says. Like the guy that sounds like pretty pretentious, you know. Like
no,
everyone would hope that their work becomes some kind of classic in some way, but realistically,
I just released this yesterday. It's a cult classic.
I personally don't think I would watch this again.
I would, but I'd want to have more alcohol.
Oh well, yeah. If someone were to put this on and I was like drunk, then maybe I'd watch. Yeah, for sure. I'd probably enjoy it a little bit more. I mean.
Not sober.
Not sober, no.
Unless you're trying to actually pay attention.
It's like when you watch 2001: Space Odyssey.
Eek.
That's a long, drawn out movie, and there's lots of long fucking scenes of like just things moving across the screen so slowly.
To help you push out that one. You get a lot of alcohol fiber.
But there was a scene in this movie that was like a intermission. You remember that?
Yeah, literal intermission. Yeah,
that looked straight out of 2001: Space Odyssey. Just amusing. Going through like this whole dimension portal kind of thing.
Candy, drinks, hot dogs.
And it said specifically soda.
Soda, excuse me.
Candy, soda, hot dogs.
Like popcorn?
I don't remember if there was popcorn in there, but I mean,
but it's just like what?
Just the bare essentials when you're in the theater.
Sure. Shots.
Remember that commercial? That guy that when he laughs, like, what was it? He's like, "Oh, I got a hairy chest."
Yes. For some reason, like Barry will be watching TV and he sees a commercial and it's like the Dos Equis guy, the
most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, but for a liquor commercial, and the guy's like, what does he say? This puts hair on my chest.
Yeah, and he's surrounded by women.
and then at one point, like it's Barry doing the same thing, and it was the fucking funniest thing.
It probably got the biggest laugh out of both of us whenever that part happened.
So there are a lot of strange aspects of this movie that you could either take out of it without having any impact on the pace of the movie. But I can only assume it's just in there to break up the tension, sort of thing. To just here's
for sure, yeah.
Here's here's an intermission.
It's called art.
That's almost a 4-letter word, Ray.
Auteur, right? Maybe that's what this guy wants to be. Like he wants to be known as an auteur. So every movie from here on out is going to have this exact sort of cinematography, maybe loose plot, loose script, right? Because I mean, as far as the plot is concerned, you have the basis of a guy who is a drug addict, gets abducted by aliens, gets possessed by the alien, experiences different aspects of some existence that apparently it's not really Barry that's like has this life.
It's not.
He just happens to be like he's throwing himself into these like situations and just kind of going with it and experiencing it in the most awkward of ways.
And somehow coming out on top.
Yeah.
I mean, he busted a lot of nuts in that movie.
Yeah, he got fucked a lot in that movie.
Good for you, Alien Barry.
What is it, like a span of like, it seemed 2-3 days maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
It could have been one fucking night for all I know.
It could have. It's, I'd say 2, maybe 2 nights.
2 nights? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
That seems logical, right? You can get fucked that many
You want
times
to
in
throw
2 nights.
logic into this? Sure.
Logic.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
You see a lot of sexing going on.
You know, I do like the use of all the colors, and then like he's in the loony bin.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like those the colors of the actual plain white walls, or I don't know if they're like kind of like off white, but I'm pretty sure they're white walls.
Sure.
And then in the brightness of when he goes outside, but then as soon as like it's nighttime, like there's purples, there's reds, there's like all different types of colors just coming at you. And again, I guess this is why you would need to be on some kind of substance to really appreciate a lot of those scenes. I mean, if you like film, I would say give it a watch.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean,
something worth wasting a little bit of time on, and even if you don't, all the same, it's amusing. It's
I don't hate I usually appreciate every movie on the first watch just for it being in existence. Not sure if I would actually watch it again necessarily. But I'm glad I watched it the first time.
Yeah, it was interesting. It was definitely amusing. Probably one of the more artsy-fartsy movies I've seen in a while. But it really doesn't give you that sense of it kind of thing. It just, I mean, you can tell the way it's shot and the way the scenes are set out.
I would say like it does have like the potential to be some kind of pretentious movie.
Yeah,
but then he gets probed by both ends. He gets a fucking probe.
To me,
it's
just it's parody.
Yeah, but like I mean,
it's funny.
A lot of things happen that kind of break up that pretentiousness. You
can take that interpretation to it, to a more serious mind, but I wouldn't.
Well, yeah, I mean, because there are movies out there that like take this to the extreme and like just are serious from beginning to end. Mm-hmm. This is like somewhat serious. I mean, first of all, it's an alien the guy getting abducted by an alien.
So the premise
that alone knowing that throughout the whole movie,
I thought
kind of like puts the levity into the movie already.
It does. What I did find interesting was that specific perspective of itself. All right, put an alien in the sky and drop him in crackland, Africa kind of thing. See what fucking happens.
Yeah.
All kinds of weird shit. And so like that of itself, I thought was interesting to see. I will give it that. So it's a weird sort of POV. You know?
I was almost certain that Die Antwoord were gonna like show up at some point. Come on, ninja.
So, do you want to give us a rating, Ray?
Yeah, we're gonna hail it. We're gonna bury it, Roland.
Yes. I will give it a hail and rewatch, sort of thing. Again, don't watch this sober unless you want to be one of those pretensers or whatever, dorks. And then if you do, that's fine. But why? Why would you take yourself so? Don't take yourself so goddamn seriously.
I will say I will hail it.
With plenty of alcohol.
With plenty of alcohol for sure. If you don't have it, if you don't have anything to kind of like alter your state while watching this movie, I would say you can. It's hail it worthy, sure. But after that, you might want to just bury it.
So it's a decent excuse to check out Last Drive-In. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean,
Joe Bob does always a good job.
It enhances the movie when you have Joe Bob commentary on top of it.
Yeah.
So I mean, we actually started watching the movie on its own, and then I was like, "Oh wait,
it's on Shudder."
It was on Shudder, and Joe Bob watched it like the past Friday.
Let's see what's
and
there.
I was like, "Well, fuck, then let's watch that version too."
Yeah. I mean,
I might have had a different opinion about this movie.
Anything with Darcy in it.
If I didn't have Joe Bob and Darcy to kind of like give some kind of commentary to this movie. So,
I mean, you get the history of heroin.
Yeah, which I never would have known at all.
No, but it's still amusing. Thanks, Joe. You're the best. You're a national treasure.
I'll listen to the history of anything if Joe Bob's going to give me that lesson.
I mean, the last one I saw was like the history of the air hand dryer.
Yeah.
He went through the whole thing. The Dyson 180-mile-hour wind tunnel hand dryer kind of thing, which it's fucking disgusting. Sorry, not sorry. I don't care if you think that's clean. It's not. You're fooling yourselves. But hey, whatever. That's good for you. And then
it helps save the environment.
And then again, I think this was the first movie I'd seen that Darcy herself was like, it's not really in my wheelhouse.
That's not the first one. There's been a few that she doesn't like.
Yeah. Which
I think one of them was like Cannibal Holocaust or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a lot of people that didn't want to watch that movie. They watched
good.
because like
But
have you seen Cannibal Holocaust?
Not in a long time.
I would say it's worth the watch, but I mean, it's not a movie you just pop in to have a good time on.
No, yeah, that's not. It isn't one of my Friday nights.
I watched Cannibal Holocaust primarily just to say that I watched Cannibal Holocaust.
I had forgotten about it until you told me.
I like
it was a thing.
Just being a fan of a film or films that are controversial, I'll watch them at least once.
Okay.
And I mean, I'll say that about Cannibal Holocaust. I've seen it twice. And for like a Serbian movie, I've seen that fucker 4 times.
Oh no!
And that's I wouldn't recommend anyone watching it 4 times. But the only reason I saw it that many times is because I saw it the first time, saw it the second time because I didn't really believe what I saw the first time, and then the other 2 times because I showed it to people because I was like, oh, they're probably not going to believe what they're watching, and that's basically what happened. So
yeah,
I haven't watched it since, and I probably wouldn't watch it again. Those images are burned in my fucking brain, and I don't really need to egg it on.
No, it's there. Don't worry.
But yeah, so that'll be the end of this. It's double hails, but Roland will keep the hail. I might bury it after like maybe a second watch. So
I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I guess we'll see you next time. Make sure you follow on podcast streaming services and around this area here. Like and subscribe, please. Tell your friends.